Welcome back, Raider Nation. It's Monday. We're going to talk about our 3-0 Las Vegas Raiders. They get a huge victory in overtime as time expires. And they're 3-0, man. This is the first time since 2002. And they get it on a 22-yard field goal from Daniel Carlson. He makes up for his missed extra point in the fourth quarter there. But the Raiders and Dolphins, they go at it in overtime. You know, the Raiders outscore them 6-3. They get a few big plays. Bryan Edwards Jr. with the big catch. You had Peyton Barber with some big running plays and some catches out of the backfield to set up these scores. So the Raiders get this thing done with over 53,000 fans in attendance. So the Raiders here, they avenge their loss of last year. And they are 3-0 for the first time in 19 years. Also, Derek Carr, he now has 26 game-winning drives to put on that stat sheet. And also, the Raiders, man, this is really a 4-game winning streak. The Raiders are 3-0 to start the season, but this goes back to last year versus Denver. They got that last win in Week 17. You know, they are riding a 4-game winning streak as we speak right now. I always loved it when the Raiders could win their last game of the season. It's something you carry into the offseason. It's a little bit of momentum you carry in the offseason. You get that win to feel good heading into the offseason. I think that win paid off, man, in Denver because the Raiders, once again, they are on a 4-game winning streak, so I'll take this all day. So now Derek Carr is the only QB this year with 300-plus passing yards in every game so far through 3 games, and he's also averaging 8.8 yards per pass attempt. That number's also grown. He's spreading the ball around so much better now, utilizing his weapons, the speed, and that's just a big reflection of him using the talent, the personnel around him. Henry Ruggs, the speed, Zay Jones, the speed, Hunter Renfrow with the moves, Darren Waller as the go-to target, Foster Moreau at times when the play opens up in the double tight end sets. You have so many different scenarios now. Derek Carr is spreading the ball, getting the football. We always know they like to get the football to the fullback in John Gruden's offense and Alec Ingold. So great job. Got the ball to 9 different receivers yesterday. He also has 1,200 yards, I think 1,203 yards through 3 games. So that's 400 yards technically per game on average. He's throwing the football. But once again, the clutch catches from these receivers. You're seeing Hunter Renfrow, and the ball doesn't always have to be put in the perfect spot. Derek Carr did drop that dime, though, to Bryan Edwards, which was beautiful in overtime. That was a perfectly thrown football, man. Once you get in a rhythm with your receivers, there becomes more trust, there becomes more continuity, more development, and you're seeing every bit of the ability with these wide receivers. Hunter Renfrow going up, leaning out to catch passes, caught the ball, the touchdown that he caught. I mean, the guy just knows how to position his body. He basically used his momentum and his forward progress and let that carry him into the end zone. That's big for a score. Sometimes in the past, you have receivers that may go down a few yards short right there, and you're stuck in a first and goal situations, and defenses can tighten up in those situations. So, once again, they're using every bit of the talent around them. And if I didn't mention Henry Ruggs going up and getting those contested catches, using his body, my bad. But we did talk about that in the draft and all that. One thing that I feel like a lot of us fans overlook is what these guys really bring to the table. It's, oh yeah, Jerry Jeudy's more the polished receiver in college, and CeeDee Lamb, maybe the more polished receiver in college. My reasons for drafting guys like Bryan Edwards and Henry Ruggs, I'm just going to tell you guys, when we do draft in the offseason and stuff, man, what it is what are you going to be like in the NFL? I can see clearly what you do in college and at a college level. But when you're looking at a player, and my evaluation on Henry Ruggs was his ceiling. Yes, you saw what he did in college. He was I think 18.5 yards per catch in college. He had 19.5 per catch yesterday. But when I look at these players, I look at it like, hey, if you have that ceiling, that untapped ceiling, that unknown in that player, that's what I'm looking for in these players, and that's why I was high on Henry Ruggs, so I'll just leave it at that. I know I kind of blab about Ruggs a lot, but a lot of people were criticizing him for the wrong reasons. Once again, upside, high ceiling, very unknown. You are seeing this develop. He is becoming that go-to wide receiver. He and Bryan Edwards both in this mix, and Hunter Renfrow. I mean, everybody has a great contribution, but it's good to see Henry Ruggs and John Gruden, man. You can tell there's a connection there going on. You can tell with Derek Carr, the confidence that he has in his young receivers. So a lot of good feeling there in the locker room, man. And we're seeing it translate on the field there. So, if you're on YouTube here, you'll see the stat sheet. So I just pulled up the stat sheet here. Derek Carr, he completes 26 of 43 pass attempts for 386 yards. And in this one, he averages 9 yards per pass attempt, 2 touchdowns, the interception. He was sacked 3 times and had a quarterback rating of 95.7. Peyton Barber, man. Peyton Barber, big contributor in this game. If you listen to the last podcast, I did bring up Peyton Barber. I was liking what I was seeing. I know he was getting like 2.5 yards per carry last game, and a lot of people were questioning, why did Peyton Barber get the bulk of the carries? I really think it has to do with vision and pad level. Sometimes when you see a player's pad level and the way he carries the football, it's almost like he knows how to hit the hole, and that's what I saw, man. Peyton Barber, he knew where to find the hole with this offensive line. This is a shaky offensive line, let's be honest. There was a lot of high snaps in the first half. I'm glad they corrected it. Let me just spin off a little bit here real quick, and I don't mean to taper off the stat discussion here, but the high snaps from Andre James to Derek Carr, and you saw one go over his head, in this game, this was corrected at halftime. This game was won off coaching adjustments. Our coaches continually make halftime adjustments, and that's why the Raiders are winning football games. I just had to stop it right there. But anyway, Peyton Barber with a 4.8 per carry average in this game. He gets a big touchdown, goes over the line, and once again, that's what I was talking about. Peyton Barber, good vision. I feel like when I watch a player, if his pad level's good, that tells me his eyes are good downfield, and if he can use his feet and make the cut, which Peyton Barber, he has a nice sharp cut. He's able to wiggle through the gaps, and it creates some open field opportunities, and you saw it. So he racks up 23 carries in this one, 111 yards, gets the touchdown. He goes over the line, sneaks over, and I know the ball was knocked loose, but once that thing crosses the plane, that's good awareness on Peyton Barber's. I know the helmet hit the ball when he was on the goal line earlier, and they got it back. Alec Ingold with a pretty nice recovery. But all in all, I'm not going to fault this kid on anything. I know he came onto the scene a little late. They signed him right as the season begins. But John Gruden believes in him, and that's all that matters. And look at the results right here on the field. And Peyton Barber, he comes away with 142 all-purpose yards. So he really showed up in this game. So Kenyon Drake now, he gets 8 carries for 24 yards. He averages about 3 yards a carry. Not too bad. A little bit of improvement there on the average, but he's been primarily a receiver out of the backfield. Nearly had a nice catch down the sideline earlier in the game. But Bryan Edwards, man, 3 catches, 89 yards, 29.7 per catch. Nice. Big playability right there from Bryan Edwards, and he had that beautiful pass dropped. Now that's the dime right there that we always say that Derek Carr can throw. Derek Carr throws him a dime in overtime to get him down the field. So Henry Ruggs, 4 catches, 78 yards, 19.5 per catch. And then Hunter Renfrow with 5 catches, 77 yards, 15.4. He had the touchdown. Once again, the ability for Hunter Renfrow to use his momentum to carry him in the end zone. It's a big deal. It's going to be clutch in those big games coming up in November and December, man. I think Hunter Renfrow is going to be a clutch player for this offense, and I don't want to think too far ahead. It's one game at a time. Darren Waller, man, 5 catches, 54 yards. He had some moments in this game, and he was targeted 7 times in this game as well. Him and Henry Ruggs and Darren Waller led the team in targets, each with 7. Kenyon Drake, he gets another 6 targets for 3 catches, 33 yards. Peyton Barber, the 3 for 31. Zay Jones has a 15-yard catch, and Foster Moreau with an 8-yard catch. So he has 2 targets as well, one with being an interception and miscommunication error there early in the game. But once again, they got it fixed, man. They got it fixed, made the right adjustments. But Derek Carr gets the football to 9 different receivers, as mentioned earlier. This is a big deal. This brings us back to the Gannon days, dude. Alec Ingold with the catch, the touchdown catch. Just brought that up, my bad. I'll pull up the defensive stat sheet here. But yeah, they did get rolling, man. The defense, though, Casey Hayward, he tackles Jalen Waddle on a wide receiver screen or a bubble screen. I don't know what they were trying to do there in the end zone. It was not an intelligent play call on Brian Flores' part. This was a bad call, man, because they throw the football to Jalen Waddle, and Casey Hayward just tackles him for a huge safety. It really got things started for this Raider team, man. They needed to regroup. They needed to settle down. I mean, Derek Carr throws a pick 6 when they're driving. I mean, it was looking like a nice opening drive, and the Miami Dolphins come up big on a pick six. Then the Raiders give the ball back, turnover on downs, go for it in their own territory, and next thing you know, a big Malcolm Brown touchdown. Raiders defense gets gashed. The next thing you know, they're down 14-0. Then the Raiders stall on offense again. You got Zay Jones downing the football at the 2-yard line. Gets a penalty, so it's half the distance to the goal, so it's backed up at the 1-yard line, and then Miami comes up with a bonehead play call, and the Raiders take advantage of it, get the 2 points, and then things just started getting rolling from there. I mean, all throughout the game, you're seeing Max Crosby, Yannick Ngakoue, man, they're getting pressure on Jacoby Brissett. He's having to move around constantly in the pocket, constantly disrupted. Sometimes had to use his legs, man, but they were getting after him. Max looks so quick coming off the edge, the handwork, you name it. He just flies off that edge. He is definitely improved in his 3rd season, man. He's even got some numbers that look better than Khalil Mack right now in his first 3 seasons as well. Or since the Khalil Mack trade, I should say. But the Raiders, they are credited by PFF. Some of these pressures are a little mixed throughout different statisticians, so I'm just going to lay out what PFF said, and that is the Raiders get 20 pressures in this game on defense. Max Crosby gets credited with 6, and Yannick gets credited with 5. And the Raiders, they also get 7 quarterback hits in this game. They get 2 sacks. Quentin Jefferson with a big sack, and Carl Nassib and Solomon Thomas are credited each with a half a sack. So the Raiders finished 2 sacks. But throughout the game, you could see Jacoby Brissett. He was under a ton of pressure in this game. The Raiders defense, I'm not going to sit here and say they're for real, but they got all 3 phases working for them in their favor. From the defensive back position, linebackers. You get another big game from Denzel Perryman. He's playing like a beast. Corey Littleton, man, playing like a beast the last 2 games. 10 total tackles, 7 solo, and a pass defense. You got Denzel Perryman, 14 total tackles, 10 solo. Also, another player I'd like to point out, of course, Nate Hobbs. He's playing great football. 3 tackles, 3 solo. He gets those open field looks, man, and in the backfield sometimes at the line of scrimmage, he is making plays. That's impressive through 3 games. Nate Hobbs is the real deal. He translates to what a professional football player needs to be, and that's where these guys sometimes in the 5th round, they're there. You just know if they're a professional football player. Doesn't necessarily matter what they did in college or what school they played for. It's what is your upside and how will you look as a professional football player, and how can we coach you into a professional football player? And that's what these guys are finding in the draft. They find mid-round steals like Max Crosby, Nate Hobbs, but another one, Tyree Gillespie, man. Another one off the Raider Dave mock draft. Hey, man, this guy steps up in the 4th quarter. Late in the game when they're making that comeback, and I know they ended up getting the touchdown, but this guy steps in a situation and gets a key run stop. Really impressed from what I saw from him out there. So all in all, this defense under Gus Bradley, they're playing with grit. John Gruden has his coaching staff in place. Greg Olson, Gus Bradley, they are all working well together, and once again, I credit coaching heavily in this game due to adjustments. The Raiders did everything right. John Gruden seemed to keep his team calm, based on what he said in the press conference. Hey, I just had to tell these guys, hey, relax, settle down. We're down 14-0, and then you get the big play from Casey Hayward, and other things start to unfold for this Raiders. Their offense gets rolling. They go out and put up 25 points since that play. Well, that play included 25 points the Raiders put up going into the 4th quarter. They have a key missed extra point from Daniel Carlson. They're able to rebound, man. They're able to rebound, and even though the Dolphins rallied in this game, they gave up a big, I know the defense gave up a big 4th and 20 later on the game. They had been on the field quite a bit throughout that game. And Derek Carr was taking hits. The Miami defense was getting in his face. They were swatting some balls to the line. They had some different looks in their stunts. They were getting pressure. They have some of the best corners in the league in Jones, and then you got Xavier Howard. So, there was a lot at stake in this game. This is another 10-win team that I brought up in the preview podcast, that these are 3 straight good matchups the Raiders had on hand, and they responded, man. They responded with 3 W's, man. 3 AFC wins. This puts them number 1 overall in the AFC, puts them number 1 in the West. They got a big game against the Chargers coming up on Monday Night Football. They get an extra day to prepare. I'm just loving the way this thing is unfolding so far as the scheduling goes, as far as the way the Raiders, and most of all, the way the Raiders are playing. But the Dolphins, they do rally in this one. They get this thing into overtime. And Bryan Edwards, man, let's just talk quick. Bryan Edwards, he's an overtime gem, dude. This guy, he has 4 big catches so far in overtime. You guys remember in the Monday night game against Baltimore, he had the huge catch that nearly was a touchdown. But he has 4 catches for 109 yards, and these are the most in a season for any player in overtime since 1991. Nice stat there, dude. So great win for the Las Vegas Raiders. Big game coming up. We'll talk injuries and all that. We'll follow up on injuries later on in the week for our preview. Kind of let things shake out throughout the week and see how the dust settles, because we saw Trayvon Mullen in some pain out there. You saw Trayvon Merrick, he had to go in the tent real quick, get looked at. Guy's in position, though, man. Do you see Trayvon Merrick, man? He's going to be the real deal, man. That guy's, the position that he makes, the adjustment that he makes in the end zone, Trayvon Mullen's doing his job there, too. And I know he did get the pass interference call as a legit call. But, man, if Trayvon Mullen isn't there, and I don't blame Trayvon Mullen for being there, those guys are just flying to the football and doing everything they can to get the win. But Trayvon Merrick was nearly set up for a pick in the end zone there. They just collided, unfortunately, and he went down. But I think everybody's going to check out fine. It is what it is. But the fact of the matter is, the Raiders, they are 3-0. They are leading the West. They are leading the AFC, and a big AFC West matchup to come in LA. Another home game. You guys know already that stadium's going to be packed with Raider Nation. When the Raiders score a touchdown, you're going to hear that crowd get lit. When the defense makes a big play, you're going to hear that crowd get lit. So till then, Raider Nation, I will see you guys this Friday for the game review coming up on Monday. Until then, have a great week. You got bragging rights, man. We're in this to win it, baby. I'm Raider Dave. This is GrimeCast Media. I'll see you next time. I'm out. Peace.